This is my roommate, Michaela Moody. I chose to interview her because she identifies as a Christian, and I was not raised in a religious household at all. Religious isn't something that I have any affiliation with, so it worked out well that I could interview her in the comfort of our own apartment. To start off with our first question, what benefits or privileges are typical for being a member of your diverse group?
I would say that the biggest benefit is just that most people in this country, well, a larger amount of people in this country, especially in the area where we live, identify as Christian. So I typically don't have to deal with any discrimination or anything like that.
Okay. And what do you think are some drawbacks or challenges that affect you and are related to your identity?
I would just say that people that don't share the belief system the extremists stand out more just like they do with any other belief system, so they tend to think that we're going to be more judgmental than most of us really are, and it's kind of sad.
Okay. What are some of the most vivid historical events of your group's past?
Well, I can just go with the most obvious one and just go with, like, the resurrection and, like, the crucifixion, so.
Right, you can kind of just, read the Bible and
yeah.
find out lots.
Yeah.
How do you feel about any stereotypes that are often attributed to your group?
Well, I mean, the judgmental nature is one of them, and just, I guess, kind of being, like, goody two-shoes and things like that, because there are people that are very extremely religious and very extreme in their practices, but there are also a lot of Christians that are more spiritual than anything and just care more about, like, loving people well more than what people do in their own personal time.
Gotcha. What sort of prejudice have you experienced in the past? Like, how did you react? Do you address any of these differently now? And, like, can you list some examples of when that's happened?
I used to get a lot more defensive when people would assume that I would be a certain way because of my belief. Like, if a friend felt like they couldn't come and tell me something because it's not something that I believe is necessarily right, instead of being like, more now, I'm just kind of like, no, even if you make different decisions with your life, how you treat me and how you're a friend to me is what matters to me, and I love you regardless. I would get more defensive and be like, how could you think that I would be like that, and that would make me mad, and like, that wasn't really a great way to react, and it didn't really get the point across that unconditional love, so.
Right. I think that's kind of how we work well as friends.
Yeah.
And how we work well as roommates is because we were very different, but she respects my opinions and I respect hers, and, like, she would never get defensive when I talk to her about any kind of topic.
Yeah.
So how would you feel as a human service professional if you were working with people that belong to other diverse groups? So say you were working in towards counseling or in any type of, like human service group, because they're all over the place.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would have no problem with that at all. The only way that I could see there being an issue is if they were really disrespectful towards my beliefs, but so long as that didn't happen, I can't foresee an issue with that, because I think that people are so different and people are brought up so differently that it would be completely absurd to expect everyone to believe the same thing, and how you treat people is what matters more to me, and I fully believe that, like, the greatest job that a Christian has is just loving everyone regardless, and what you do in your personal time and what you believe will happen later and what afterlife you believe in is irrelevant to, like, right now, so.
And I think to add on to that, I think it's especially easier to put yourself in a position of, like, this is the workplace and I'm going to do what I have to do in order to help these people, because that's what human services is about in general. It's just getting through to your client individually and doing what is going to help that client, regardless of their religious background, regardless of their racial background, everything like that. So.
Yeah, regardless of if you believe in God or not, I want you to have the absolute best and happiest life that you can have. So.
But yeah, that concludes our interview. Thank you for watching. Have a good night.